actualizing my gifts and mastering all the breathing. Me and Neon, we've been scheming on saving, yeah, from demons. They say my heroes was heathens, but since my birth I've been leading. Got that warrior spirit on sight, I'll channel and hear it. I speak my mind cause I am sweet and don't fear it. All the chaos outside, I don't run from more high. I'm the Neo Sojourner, I free the land with my mind. All my family that's down, from your room to your crown. Let your center shine bright and reflect the light. Yeah. Your solar plexus shining brighter than your necklace. Your solar plexus shining brighter than your necklace. Your solar plexus shining brighter than your necklace. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, welcome, beautiful people. Namaste. I am Nunu, and this is Akashic Saturdays. We are live at 5. My apologies about the whole 4 p.m., 5 p.m. thing, but it's all good. We are right here, right now. So I have Facebook and Instagram going on at the same time. So this is new for me. I haven't done this on both. This is my Facebook page and my Instagram page. So what's up? Welcome, beautiful beings. So today we're going to be continuing the topic of ancestors. And as I was lighting the stage, definitely welcoming the ancestors' presence, honoring their presence rather, because they're always present. Honoring their presence as I light the cedar and holding space for your ancestors. So if you're on here, please take a moment just to even take a breath to honor the presence of the matriarchs and the patriarchs of your family and all of the beings that are there supporting you right now, that have passed and that have passed in physical but are present right now. So welcoming them all. Today, I know the topic of the ancestors is very beautiful. Again, have my handy dandy notes because you know that is how we like to do. I feel like this is a little dark. Oops. Okay, that's good. That's good, yeah. All right. So, again, I'm dedicating these Akashic sessions to invite you, to enlighten you, to let you know what Akasha is about, right? A lot of people don't know what it is that I do. And yeah, it's good that I put this beautiful content out there, but how does it relate into your lives? So I started doing these beautiful Akashic Saturdays. They mean the world to me. They mean a lot to me just because it's another step of allowing the collective consciousness on healing. It's another step of consciousness, of knowing how you can use these tools that I teach you in these sessions as we up level and better ourselves and commit ourselves to more peace in our lives. This is how we do it through these Akashic sessions. Obviously, there's a lot more different modalities, but this is how I want to share peace in your life through this modality of the Akashic records. So for people who don't know, the Akashic records derives from the term Akasha, which means consciousness. And so Akasha has a record of all of the things that have been imprinted within it. Yes. So that means the past lives that you've lived, your soul has an imprint of all the different experiences in this lifetime and in past lifetimes as well. Oh, my drum. Hey, drum. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to develop Akashic Saturdays, because it was really important for me to hey, it's my neighbor. It's really important for me to promote the healing and how people can dive in within themselves. Okay, so how do I join? So I have a few questions here and then I have some information. If you have any questions at any point, please don't hesitate to ask any questions. Please DM me. I would love to answer your questions about the Akasha. There's going to be a code word of how we decide. There's going to be a code word for gifts. So you're going to use this code word and send me an email to my email, and that is how you can get your gift, okay? So stay tuned. The code word is going to be anywhere in between the session. I'm so excited. This is so fun because now I have a sense of free-flowing experience with my life and fun. My life gets to be fun and exciting, and the sensual, beautiful energy that we're playing and enjoying myself. I'm enjoying myself. Okay. I have a little garbage for my phlegm. Okay. So the first question that I have here is, how do I join Ancestral Lines? So we're just going to do a small little recap about last week's topic. That was Ancestral Lines. And we're just continuing it this week. So how do I join Ancestral Lines? So there are many ways you can join an ancestral lineage, okay? First one is you can be born into a family tree. So the choice, when you decide, there's a space and in between space, the cosmos, the void, when we're in the void, before we're coming and reincarnating into a new lifetime, we choose to be in a family tree. So in order to join a soul tribe, one way is to join a family. So all of those experiences where you feel that you're not part of this family and stuff like that, that is actually not true. There's a reason why you've joined your family, and actually it was a choice by you. You did this choice. So there's a very, very strong reason why you're in the family that you've chosen to be in and incarnated into this earth. A second way to join an ancestral lineage is to be adopted into a family. So if you're not from a family or you've been adopted into a family, there's a karmic experience from a past experience that has linked this family and this child together. And there's a reason for it. So again, if you feel like a black sheep in your family, it's not by accident. It's really because you've chosen to be here. Also you have karmic experiences if you've been adopted into a family. Marriage. So another way that you can choose at a later point in your life, in this lifetime, to welcome yourself in a new ancestral lineage is getting married into another family. So when you are marrying into a family, on either side, it is very much so that you are really taking upon their soul tribe as well. You're really taking upon their soul tribe, and that's not that saying that people say, like, when you marry someone, you're taking upon their whole family. It really is true, because you are tying ties with this soul tribe. You're tying ties with this person and with their collective consciousness. You're saying, we have similar beliefs, and we want to come together so we can support each other in these similar beliefs and continue on the lineage. And so when you are marrying someone, you're definitely taking upon their soul tribe, because it has a particular purpose that you really connect with. And so for my peoples who are engaged and who are married, definitely take into consideration, even for people who are not, like, take into consideration that you are marrying that person's tribe. You are marrying that soul purpose, and that's gonna help you, that's gonna help guide you into your partnership. It's gonna help you show you, is this the kind of soul tribe you want to connect with? This is a soul tribe and collective consciousness and purpose that you resonate with really, truly, and fully. And now that leads me to after the fact of divorce and resented breakups. So if you have a really resentful divorce, there's really strong ties that have not been dealt with. So when we decide to join a soul tribe and something like a divorce happens, it really allows for a stronger tie to be created. Not, and you're like, why does it create a stronger tie when I'm choosing to cut that tie? Well, it depends how you've parted with that person. Okay? And now think about your relationships, your boyfriend and girlfriend, or whatever other partners that you have. I speak with boyfriend girlfriend because I am heterosexual, monogamous relationships that I've experienced. So I speak on those, but I'm also welcoming other people who are in other experiences of partnerships. Now look at your partners and see, and think about the ones that were really, really pungent in your mouth, that left a really sour taste in your mouth. And if you were to bring that name up again, if you were to bring that relationship up again, does it cause resentment in your heart? Does it cause pain in your soul? Because if it does, there's work to be done. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to go and talk to that person, but it could mean that. But what it really means is there's some work on your end. There's some work on your end, and there's a reason why you joined that tie. So open that space up for what is the resentment about? And how can you hold space for more peaceful parting, right? When there is resentment like that, ask yourself, how can you bring more peace and love into a space? And that goes even for your parents. That goes even for your friends. When you're ending a relationship, how of any sort, how can you bring more peace in the parting? So that's what the Akashic Records hold space for questions like these. Thank you for witnessing and being part of this. I'm so honored. Okay, so another way that you can join an ancestral lineage is through shared consciousness. So we talked about this already. I'm going to highlight it one more time. Shared consciousness. So when we are in a collective, or when we share a certain belief system as another, it's a collective consciousness. It is an experience that we share, that we can uplift ourselves and the group that we resonate with. So when we come together to raise this collective consciousness, it is also one way that we join a particular ancestral lineage. Just reading my notes here. So when the line is revealed, people will join the ancestral line. So when the ancestral lineage is revealed, people will join the line. And so what that means is, whoa, I need some Kleenex. Pause for 1 second. Blessings. Excuse me. Okay, so when you have a certain shared consciousness with a tribe, sometimes it might take a few lifetimes for you to address the intention of why you came together. So there might be a few different lifetimes that you actually stay in the same ancestral group and be like, you know what, our work isn't done here. So we are gonna come back together in a different form, and we're gonna address why we chose to join the tribe that why we chose to join the tribe that we decided to join. So sometimes the intentions are so strong, and sometimes the there's a certain word that I'm looking for, but sometimes the reason why you all come together, the purpose of that can go beyond different lifetimes, and then so your ancestors, you and your ancestors have that similar commonality as well, and you will come back, right? Okay, so those are the three. Those are the three few different ways on which how you can join different ancestral lines. So you can either be willfully born into the family that you're born into. If you're adopted, there's this reason why you're adopted into a certain family. Also marriage. And when there's divorce and there isn't a peaceful parting, there is more work on your end that needs to be done. And also because shared consciousness, so our similar tribe experiences allows us to be together, and our souls say, you know what, I'm gonna join your tribe, or let's do this together, and let's have these other collectives coming together, and let's go ahead because we share the same ideas. We're gonna go ahead and go into Earth or wherever actually, into this space, and let's do the damn thing, pretty much. Okay, so now this week's topic is specifically based on ancestral lineage. Okay, it's specifically we're gonna go deep into it. I thought I was gonna do two different topics of healing past lives and ancestral, but ancestral lineage is its own entity, so we're just gonna focus on it, strictly on it today. So the next question I wrote here is, what is my responsibility to my ancestors? Ooh, okay. Have you ever asked yourself that question? What is your responsibility to your ancestors? Just take a moment and put your hand on your heart and ask yourself, what is your responsibility to your ancestors? That question in itself is going to spark a lot of memories in you. It's going to ignite and bridge a gap between your past. Hey, salut, brother, welcome. It's going to bridge a gap between the people that have died in your family right now. It's going to bridge a gap between you and those people that have died. And I'm going to ask you, especially the people, if you're married, if you have a partner, it's going to ask about why you've chosen to be attached to their soul tribe as well. So what is your responsibility to your ancestor? I want that to, if you have like a pen and paper, or if you have your phone right now, like I want you to like really meditate on this question, because it's deep. Like to ask yourself in a question, what is my responsibility, me coming to here on earth, and have responsibility to my ancestors that have already passed. Right, so that's going to be a question for y'all to really mellow and sit upon. And now think about this: your living being right now is this. It's a vantage point. It's a convergent point. You are that converging point between all the people, all the ancestors that have passed, and all the ones that will come. You are that gateway right now. That's deep, eh? Yeah, so this is what the Akashic records are about. It really allows and holds space for you to understand what your purpose is, and from all different vantages, all different perspectives. And so I want y'all to get thinking about what is your responsibility to your ancestors. And knowing that you are that convergent point. I'm looking down because I have my notes here. Keep it grounded. Between all your relations and all your ancestral lines that are coming and that have passed. You are that like center, that gateway, yo. That's intense, right? I know. Okay. So the focus is that you are bringing growth and healing to the entire ancestral soul group. Okay. That's why you're here on earth. Well, one of many reasons, in fact. So the focus is what your responsibility, your focus, when you ask yourself, I know it's intense, what your responsibility to your ancestors is bringing more growth and bringing more healing to your entire ancestral soul group. And by releasing, and how that works is you release judgment. You release judgment of yourself. You release judgment of others. On your ancestral line, you release judgment maybe to that crazy aunt, or maybe to your father, or maybe to your mother, maybe to your sibling. Let those, like, if there are feelings of, I can't stand that person, or I need some space from that person, it's yeah, it's intense. So that's why I wanted to only focus on ancestral lineage, just for what Akashic records are, because it can get really deep, and these are the questions that can be answered through the Akashic records. So um I'm glad that I'm bringing this up for all of us, because when do we get to have conversations about this? Like, when do we really get to understand and have conversations about what your responsibility of your ancestors are? Why did you choose to come on earth into this physical body, into this race, into your mother and father's experience? There's a reason for that. And so I'm really loving that I'm having conversations with all of y'all who are connecting on these lives, because so we can normalize it and not put so much pressure on ourselves, not push so much stress on ourselves, because those are all innate questions we ask ourselves before we even jumped into this world. You're like, I want to connect with this person. I want this person to be my mom's. I want this person to be my dad's. I want to come into this physical melanin experience, and I want to have this experience because we all have a collective understanding. Now, this is going to get you thinking, what is that collective idea? What is that collective thought, that collective consciousness, that collective reason why you all chose to come together like this? Right now, this live is going to get you thinking about that. Like, before you go to sleep, like, look at your experiences with your parents and your partner and your family members, and ask yourselves, what's the collective consciousness that why we chose to come on earth like this? And the way we answer this question, what is my responsibility, again, is about judgment. Is like, how can we release all stigmas of judgment on ourselves? Sometimes when we want to come and reoccurring pattern of the same ancestral lineage, if we come multiple times, it's because the work isn't finished. And now I want you to ask yourself, where's their judgment that you're holding for yourself? Right? So if you have pen and paper with you, I'm going to encourage you to write that down. Where is their judgment for yourself? And then in regard to the question I asked you earlier, what's your responsibility towards your ancestors? Is their judgment there? Do you feel lack of, or do you feel like you can't hold that torch moving forward because you choose to be in another experience of life? Just hold space for your judgments. Don't judge your judgments. Just, if they're bad, just write them down. If they're good, just write them down. We're just looking at them at the moment. Okay? So this is why I do our Akashic record sessions. They help teach you about yourself and about the karmic rifts between other people. They show you how you can be better between icky situations. We look at those icky situations, and I love that, because it allows you to engage into what's triggering you about that person. What about that person that you can't stand, whether it be in your family, whether it be your partner, your ex, that crazy person at work that is causing you to be triggered inside, because chances are you have a past karmic experience with them, and it's coming up and it's showing up, which is why you have this negative experience towards them. So that's why the Akashic records are so much fun for me to do, because they help you learn about yourself and help you show all the karmic experiences that you undergo. So I want to give you an example. I'm feeling called to give you an example. So it's a pretty personal example. My dad, my father, I love him so much. There were certain experiences I was just like, I don't get you. Like, how come you're why are you the being that you are? And so I opened my records, I tapped in, and I was trying to find an answer for him. But what my guides showed me, they actually came back to me, and they were like, why are you judging someone for them choosing to be the way that they are? And I was like, oh shit, like, that's deep, yo. Because I was holding this person to a standard that they didn't even want to hold themselves to a standard to. So why am I forcing someone to be the standard, or and that they choose not to be in? And that goes with every part in your life. That goes with a partner again. That goes with your friends. That goes with your parents and your siblings. Like all those immediate, really close, tight knits, right? So the Akashic Records, they ask you to focus on yourself, to see situations for their soul level truth. Who are you really, right? So I was on a conversation with a friend, and she was telling me every time she's gone through something so intense. No, sorry. She's gone through healing experiences and Akashic experiences, and everyone will always acknowledge her angelic being. And it was interesting, and she was kind of perplexed about it. She was like, I don't get it. Like I've gone through so much of darkness. Why aren't they seeing the darkness? Why are they only seeing my angelic being? Why are these healings only showing me all this goodness rather than all this pain that I've been through in this lifetime? And I told her it was because the Akashic records show you your soul level truth. Hey being, blessings. The Akashic records show you your soul level truth. They show you who you really fucking are. Okay? Yes, we've been through darkness. I'm looking here because we have Facebook over here. We have Instagram over here. We beneath all of the darkness, we are light. We are soul beings that have experienced, that have lived on different planets, that have experienced exponential amounts of the universe. So that is what the Akashic records see. The Akashic records see who you are underneath all of that shit, because that shit is not you. That's just the karmic experiences to level you up, right? So and she was understanding what I meant. She was getting what I meant, because they were, all these healers were seeing who she really was, not all the darkness she went through. But it's also important to acknowledge the darkness, because that's where a lot of the work is. And I love diving in to the Akashic records because it allows people to really voice for themselves and activate their throat chakra and activate their willingness to bring more peace into their lives, bring more love into their lives. All right. Ooh. If you have any questions, type them up. Let me know. Okay. So when you're asking to have more peace with yourself, it's creating some more space. So I brought this up already the other time. So when you're asking for more peace in your life, you're actually holding more space to create more peace in the relationships around you, in the experience of your life, in the quality of your life, in the abundance of your life. So when you're willing to bring more peace, make more peace with yourself, bring more peace in your life, automatically those relationships that you have issues with, automatically those problems that you have problems with, they get dissolved, they get dismantled, because you are dedicating more peace. And so this peace is it shines through you and then addresses situations accordingly. So you're holding more space for more peace and shifts with others naturally when you dedicate yourself to this work. There's a certain balance. You know what? I'm not gonna say that. We're gonna leave that part out. Okay. Black sheep. Oh. This is for my black sheep people out here, okay? I kind of talked about it before. You know, when you choose to come into a family and you feel like you're not a part of that family, it's actually not true. You've chosen to be a part of that family, right? And although you might feel like a black sheep, and you want to run away, there's actually a lot of work required from us when we're in the family that we're in, blood-wise. And now I'm not saying, you know, go into your household where you feel like it's toxic and receive the wrath. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying take the steps that you need. Now, when you're a black sheep, it's because you're being called to bring more peace, okay? Honor that you're a black sheep in the family. and allow yourself to bring more peace to yourself in this way. So black sheep, according to the Akashic records, is those beings in particular bring more peace. Yeah, are meant to bring more peace. That is why you're shaking shit up in your life. You're shaking shit up in people's lives, being you, right? Being different. So by being different, by being you, you're bringing more peace into the world because you're shaking shit up and you're waking and triggering other people to be whatever their peace looks like for them. So the opportunity to let go of resistance and accepting people for who they are when they're different is part of the work. Let me say that again. When you're accepting you being a black sheep and you're letting resistance go, when you're releasing the resistance that you're different, you're actually releasing and learning to accept yourself, and in turn learning to accept people who are different. And that goes for the beings who you think are all robots. I just want that to settle in for a second because that's pretty deep. Give me a second. Yeah, we're out here sharing the world, promoting peace, and letting go of all this damn phlegm. Yeah, all right. So, black sheep. So I'm talking to you, okay? Not for a second, but I'm talking to you all the time because I felt that experience of being a black sheep. And when I learned that me being my black sheep was actually so important and was actually an integral piece of me coming into earth, it actually changed my life. Because I realized I was holding so much resistance to me being me. I was holding so much resistance to me being me. And so me being the black sheep, I'm allowing to more peace for my ancestral lineage. I came in this being for a purpose, and I came me being me for a purpose. And so I'm willing and I'm honoring that I do shake shit up. And when I let go of that resistance that I am different, that we are different, we actually hold more space to be more welcoming for the other people who don't see us, who are categorizing us differently. So we actually have more compassion for ourselves, therefore we can have more compassion for other people. La 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 la. Okay, so when you accept people for who they are and who they aren't, that is when the true liberation is. That is when there's true liberation. You know, you could see a woman doing whatever. And when I say woman, okay, I know why I said woman. Like I can see a woman stripping, and I'll be like, okay, that's you. Do you? You, like, in my world, in my perspective, that might not seem like the best way of, receiving abundance, but I'm not going to judge you if you are happy, and if you're happy in doing what you want to do, right? And so when you're accepting people for who they are and who they're not, and still honoring what you want, that is a liberated space to be in. And I'm still a work in progress, okay? Just want to know, I've come a long way, I've done a lot of work, and I'm still a work in progress. We all are. This is the life journey. They don't call this a journey for nothing. Okay, so I have an exercise for you. Okay, so the exercise is, what does being bold in your love feel like? I'll write that out. What does being bold in your love feel like? I feel like writing that. What does being bold in your love feel like? Now this is an exercise I want y'all to do. And y'all just take a moment to understand, what does being bold mean in that? So those are the kind of questions that I ask and that we really dive deep in within Akashic record healing sessions. I say Akashic record healing and vulnerable or clarity session. Actually, clarity sounds better. Akashic healing and clarity session, because it's a mixture of my philosophy background, my conflict resolution background, and my spiritual ancestral healing together. So in the Akashic records, we go into these questions, and then we switch into this experience of in your day-to-day life. How is that reflecting? And so that's when my conflict resolution tools come out. Okay, so this is the question that I asked on there. I feel like I'm gonna write this on my Facebook as well. What does being bold in your love feel like? What does being bold in your love feel like? Okay. So this is the deep questions that we ask, because this is the kind of stuff that we need to bring up and to bring more healing within ourselves. Okay. This is the kind of space that I want to hold for people to ask these deep questions, because it's the way that we're gonna bring more peace into our lives, right? By asking these questions, things are going to come up, and maybe there's certain beliefs that you don't want to hold anymore. And this is the space. These sessions are the space that you can tweak, move, and do what you need. Should you need that assistance? Should you not know how to do it on your own? I hold space for you to learn how to do this on your own. So if you don't know how to do it on your own, this is the space to learn. Okay, so ask yourself this question. What does being bold in your love feel like? Okay, especially when there's someone in your family, especially when there's a partner or an ex that you can't stand. How can you be bold in your love in those spaces? Okay, where does appreciation and acceptance stand, right? Okay, so now since we're talking about ancestral lineage, excuse me, and we're focusing on specifically ancestral lineage for the Akashic records today, I wanted to come into acceptance. Let's focus on acceptance and appreciation in your for everyone in your family, right? There might be that crazy uncle or that stupid cousin or that tough experiences with your mom or your dad or siblings that you just are just really intolerable. And so I want to open it up with love. Open up those spaces where you can actually address the rifts, where we can actually hold space for more acceptance and more peace between those experiences. So we can work on those things and move the fuck on, right? Rather than it being this thing that just gets us stuck all the time. So I'm going to give you an example. I knew someone who was super terrified of dogs, okay? Super fucking terrified of dogs. And a grown-ass person, up until this day, terrified of dogs. And it was this memory of an experience that they had so long ago that still affects them, that still impacts their decisions in life today. For example, how you interact with a person's house if they have a dog, or you're not going to have a dog in your home considering you had that experience, right? And so I want these spaces to be so we can address situations like that. Okay, so this is what the Akashic records are about. So Akashic records give us the clarity and the peace that can fulfill our roles. Okay? It gives us the space to look at all these issues so we can further our evolution, so we can further our evolving being, so you can further our ancestral line, so we can further the generations that come before us by dealing with our shit. Deal with your shit so we can just transcend into other things, so we can just be better for our kids, so we can be better for future generations. That is what the Akashic records are, dealing with our shit. Okay. And then again, furthering the ancestral line, and that also means you came here with a purpose, and you're actually fulfilling that purpose by bringing more peace to yourself, by addressing the pain points. So, during the Akashic records, you can actually explore who your ancestors are and the influences on your life. So you can ask questions like, who are my ancestors? You can ask questions like, what are distinguishing traits of my ancestors? And I love this work because it allows people to really learn about themselves. It allows people to connect with their ancestors. It allows people to connect with their purpose, their dharma. It allows people to connect with why you chose to come into the family that you chose, why you chose to marry into the family that you chose. And what are the divine intentions of this ancestral lineage? Questions like, how do my guides see my ancestral lineage moving between time and space? Okay. Questions like, what are my privileges in this ancestral lineage? What are my responsibilities in this ancestral lineage? What are my, how can I release experiences of my ancestral lineage that I don't resonate with anymore? Because you get to release that. See, when we come into this being, our DNA has imprinted, decoded information, and sometimes that has trauma. Like if your experiences of oppression has been in your ancestral lineage, that has been taken into your DNA. It's been sewn into your DNA. So if you do not want to feel oppressed anymore, and you want to address that, you ask these questions. You ask questions like these. What are some things that have been lingering, right? Like, so for example, in my ancestral lineage, a lot of people felt oppressed, felt poor, felt pain with money, and felt like they had to be more white and fix up themselves. And so it carried on to lineages, it carried on to my DNA. And so when there was a lot of pain when I was growing up with that, and now because I've chosen to address that, it doesn't, I feel like I've released that contract. I felt like I've superseded that karmic rift, that karmic experience, because I don't resonate with that anymore. Okay. Okay. So you can also ask questions like, how can I honor my ancestors in this lifetime? That's a beautiful question to ask, right? So earlier I asked the question, what are my responsibilities to my ancestors? So we're coming back to that question. How can I honor my ancestors in this lifetime? That's a great question to ask yourself. If you have a pen and paper, please write that question down. Even if you just want to put your hand on your heart, and I will hold space for you to right now to ask yourself, how can I honor my ancestors in this moment, and not it feeling like a drab, because maybe you feel like your ancestors want you to do something else when you want to do something else. Then that's something that you can release. And this is where you can release it in these sessions. And I mean, not just in these sessions, but they're exclusively held for this kind of work. So asking questions like, how can I expand into the greatness of this particular ancestral line? Like questions like that. Like, how can I be the best, and shine and expand into the greatness of why I chose this ancestral line particularly? What contribution do I make on behalf of these lines to my future descendants? Again, these are the questions that are going to stir the pot for you. Okay, so then asking questions like you can identify and clear unwanted patterns for yourself. How do you do that? You ask yourself these beautiful questions during the sessions. I mean, you can ask them by yourself, which is why I'm holding space for you to do. If you have no experience with this, if you want assistance, I'm here, I'm offering. Questions like asking about limiting patterns about your ancestral experience. So, you know, there's this greatness that you want to live within, and then there's these experiences within your ancestral lineage that you don't resonate with, and so that might be a limiting pattern. That is a limiting pattern being within this collective consciousness. You being on this live, you being here present, witnessing this experience means that you want to supersede that limiting pattern. And so Akashic Records and I will be more than happy to help you do that, to release yourself from these limiting patterns. Okay, so asking questions, so where does this limiting pattern begin? What was the original intent behind this pattern? Why was this pattern here in the first place? Right? Because these patterns are here for a reason. They don't just happen. They come, we create them, we want them, we have them for a particular reason. And we get to find out and we get to know what these reasons are. What else? So there's questions like, if this pattern no longer serves me, what will it take for me to evolve beyond it? That's not a question I wrote. That's a question I got from a book, and I really wanted to share it because it was an important part of the healing process. Which of the past parents' ancestrals hold the key to my freedom? Which of the parents' ancestral lines hold the key to my freedom? Okay, and then there's a different. Now I want to talk about healing a difficult bond or tie. And again, we're still in the ancestral lineage. That's why this shit is so deep on the ancestral lineage experience, which is why I didn't want to talk about past lives just yet, because shit is so intense and we are normalizing the intensity. Yeah. Okay. So you can ask questions like in the Akashic Records of what are my family members and I working on this ancestral lineage, on this ancestral path? What is the true nature of this difficulty? What is the true nature of this difficulty? Now, I want you to take a moment and really understand if they're having a difficult bond or tie with someone, and knowing the information that you know right now, that we all come here with a purpose and we all connect with certain beings, the purpose. What is that individual teaching you? For a long time, it was very triggering for me because she was super conservative, Indian Christian woman, and here I am being like, I'm gonna be abundant and I'm gonna like show you how it gets to be fun, and like we just kept butting heads. And while doing this work, I knew that I always want to bring more peace and love everywhere I go, and it starts with the people that I'm connected with. And if I can't bring peace to those people, what the fuck am I really doing then? And so I really had to ask myself these questions. Like, what was the similar bond that we decided to bond on? What was the bond that we decided to have to come here? Why did I choose for this person to be my mother when it could have been like, I don't know, Jada Pinkett? You know what I mean? And so that's an interesting question to ask, because it's like, I know I chose this mom, I chose this partner, I chose this husband, this wife, this sister, this father, this brother, this twin for a reason. What else? Okay, so now I'm gonna hold space give you an example of the questions that I asked right now. I opened my records and tapped in and asked some of these questions. Okay, so I asked, who are my ancestors? So I did it really quickly. I've done this before, but not as extensively as I want to. But I did it right now for just to give you an idea of what we're experiencing. So we're just about wrapping up. I asked, who are my ancestors? Oh, the images that I got, my ancestors are powerful beings. Like, they were tribes. They were dancers. They had thick hips. Like, it was interesting because I saw this image of this woman, and she was like chiseled in a really interesting way. And so I wrote, like, what is the divine intention behind this ancestral lineage? And I said constant, and what I got was constant meditation. What I got was chiseled, I saw this image of Aztec beings chiseled, and it was just like holy beings. Oh, release. Aztec chiseled individuals. Okay, that's one of the things going on. So what Akashic record work is doing is chiseling your inner work. Is chiseling not your inner work, your inner being. It's teaching you how to listen to your inner being. So when I'm tapping into the Akashic, I'm also getting you to tap into your Akashic. So you get to do this work on yourself as well. So I wrote, what is the divine intention with this line? And with this particular ancestral line that I'm in. And it says breath, just to be in this world. It was just like, I just kept breathing deeper and deeper. And I'm like, whoa, this is interesting. So it was like legit just to be. And blessings. And then I asked, what is the soul level purpose for me to be in the ancestral lineage, for me to be in the ancestral lineage that I am in? And it was to offer, so when I asked that question to myself, I had an image come up, and the image was this beautiful ancient experience. Kid. I was a kid actually, and it had this beautiful gold looking dessert, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's interesting and different. So I'm like, I don't know what that means. I'm like to offer. It was like this person, this being was offering treats, was offering desserts, was offering something to give to people, right? And so I was like extracting the information, and that's what I do in your Akashic record sessions. I'm like, certain images are coming up for me, and so I'm extracting the information, and I want y'all to also see the images. So I'm gonna get y'all to close your eyes, and then sharpen your intuition, sharpen your inner being, sharpen the power of your soul that permeates your whole life. So what I got for me was when I asked, what is my soul purpose within this ancestral lineage that I'm in right now? And it was to offer treats, it's to offer gifts, it's to showcase what I have to provide for people. And it's interesting because I'm providing Akashic sessions for y'all. So it makes sense. Like, it was a very traditional experience as I saw that image. So it was nice to really get the true message from that. Okay, then I wrote, what is the divine intention with this lineage, and what is the short-term goals, right? So the short-term goals for me in this lineage was to provide color, Okay, what does that mean? So let's extract information from that. So to provide colors, to provide life, to provide colors, to provide perspective, to provide colors, to provide variety of different thoughts and experiences. And so that was what my intention coming into this ancestral lineage, and my short-term goals was to provide variety, provide color. So then I asked, what is my long-term goal? So I asked my guides, okay? So this is what I do. My eyes are closed, my hands are open, I'm in the receiving mode, and I say, okay, I ask a question with my inner being. I don't speak out loud in the conscious world. I speak within the subconscious experience within our souls. And then I ask, what is this? Where does this person, is this the right step for this person? Whatever you are asking about, because the way you ask the question, the choice of where you want to take the session is blessings, is is where this session goes. So it's basically you are walking into an apple yard and you're like, hey, I want to talk about this tree, this branch, and that apple. And because the records are so vast, right? They're so vast. You have experiences of lifetimes of information of beings and different role models and ancestors who have died from this lineage, from past lineages, your masters, your teachers, your guides from all places. So when you're asking, you have to ask a really specific, particular question, right? So long-term goals for this particular ancestral lineage for me was to bring up strong souls, to be a powerful matriarch, so when this information came, so I see certain images, right? What I'm doing is I'm tapping into your Akashic. I'm tapping into your aura, right? I'm super sensitive in that way. I feel like we're all empathic. Yes, absolutely. So we're all empathic beings, right? Some are just more than others because they experience certain things. So when we're in the Akashic session, certain images show up. I'm in your records. I'm in your space, and it's vulnerable, and it's in teaching people how to hold strength in vulnerability. So when I asked my guides, what was my long-term goals, it said to bring up strong souls. That fucking rhymed. Okay, now another image came to my head. I was at the shore of this beautiful sea, and there was my whole tribe, my whole ancestral lineage was there. My mom was in front of me. My grandma was in front of her, and we were just standing in rows of how we've chosen to come into Earth. And so when I asked what were my long-term goals, it was saying blessings. It was saying to bring up strong souls, but not only to bring up strong souls, is to be a powerful matriarch, because I have powerful matriarchs in my life, in my lineage. That's just a standard that we've chosen as a collective. We've okay, you are this powerful, you're this powerful, we have similar consciousness. Let's go into the world together. But for me, in my long term, particularly to Anoushka, blessings Marco, welcome, was to be a powerful matriarch without guilt. Be a powerful matriarch without shame. Be a powerful matriarch without those past oppressive experiences that my past matriarchs have experienced. So me coming into this earth, choosing this lineage, is so specific, because I was like, okay, you're coming here. You have a collective understanding that you all are powerful matriarchs coming together. Cool. Now you, as your being, as Anoushka's soul, you're going to come out here and you're going to teach people to be strong souls without guilt. So that's your inner work. You have to choose to extract the guilt from your life, from your DNA, from the oppressive experiences that your past matriarchs have experienced. So that was one of the things that I got. And they move between time and space. Okay, so then I asked, how does my ancestral lineage move between time and space? Okay, when I asked this question, I got, they move on a ship on dark waters and rocky waters. And so it made sense. There's a lot of backstory to that. And so when you ask a question, an image would come, and then we'd talk about it, and then I'll ask you to dive deep into your own Akashic records. I love that. Be that rock. Exactly. That was like the long-term goal. I feel like be that rock in a new way, like chisel that rock in a way where, because when we come into our earth, particularly choosing the life that we choose to be, and particularly choosing the family that we choose to come in with, there's certain information in our DNA. Thank you so much. It says I have 24 seconds remaining. I don't know why, but I'm going to go now. So I don't want to get cut off. I love you all. Thank you so much for being part of this beautiful live about ancestral lineage. The code word is going to be free up, FREEUP, free up, to get your gift, and DM me about what that is. Peace and blessings.